Welcome to Yin and Young. The following is a story taken from Chapter 3. I have called it Cars Are for Adults. I hope you enjoy it. Behind the dark building was a hilly, treed area that sloped unevenly downward and had some abandoned jalopies parked here and there. The slope of the hill, the softness of the brown soil, and the long-grown grass which bowed in tangled bunches made for uneven and difficult walking conditions. Bobby's boots either sunk in the soil or got caught up in the grass, causing Bobby to trip and stumble several times as he walked. But he wanted to get a close look at the vehicles, some of which were either too sheltered in scrub or too big to get into. There was a truck with a step below the door which Bobby was able to put a foot on, but when he jumped up to grab the door handle, he fell back again. Bobby spotted an abandoned '49 Chevy. All the paint on the car was gone, leaving only a rusted surface, but the windows were clear and it was easy to access the doors. Pulling on the passenger door, Bobby slipped into the car and slid across the bench to the driver's side. After playing with his toy steering wheel and driving with his uncle, Bobby was getting quite comfortable and plonked himself down behind the large, skinny steering wheel of this Chevy. Bobby pulled on the signal indicator. It didn't make any sound except to click into place. Bobby also tried the stick that was behind the steering wheel. It was much bigger since it was used to switch gears, but the stick didn't move. Bobby continued playing with different things, clicking the high beam button on the floor, opening the glove compartment box, pulling and pushing the choke, opening and closing the ashtray, and pretending to start the car. "Hur, hur, hur," he said out loud, making noises similar to a car. He said, then pushed the choke back in, putting both hands back on the steering wheel. He tried pulling the gear shifter again several times, not being able to get it to move, so he got up, and kneeling on the seat, he used both hands to grab the stick shift and started pulling, yanking harder and harder. Finally, there was a thunk, and the gear shifter popped out of its position, and the car slowly started rolling forward down the hill. Bobby had lost his balance and dropped back down on the seat behind the steering wheel and could feel the car roll and wobble as it slowly accelerated down the hill. The grass and dips on the hillside prevented the car from picking up too much speed, and after passing several trees, the car bumped to a stop against a tree some distance down the hill. Everything was still again. Bobby sat in the seat for a minute, wondering if it was safe. He got up on his knees and looked out the window to see what was going on. He was quite proud to see that he had been driving and climbed out of the driver's door and out onto the grass. He slammed the door and then patted the rusty metal side like a rider pats a horse. "Bobby!" His grandma was at the top of the hill calling him. "Bobby, time to go." "I'm here, Grandma," Bobby shouted back up as he climbed through the grass tufts and over the uneven slope of the hill. "I was driving, Grandma," he said. Grandma just thought Bobby was playing and said, "That's nice." "Yes," Bobby replied. "Look, I drove that car down the hill." "What do you mean down the hill?" "There, see?" Bobby pointed to the car. "What? Bobby, did you drive that car? Oh, goodness, that's dangerous. How did you get the car to move down the hill?" "Cecil!" Grandma shouted. "Come look at this." Bobby suddenly got the sense that he did something wrong. Grandpa came to the edge of the hill and, looking down, said, "Bobby, were you in that car?" Bobby got more careful with his words. "I don't know," he replied. "That car there, were you in it just now?" "I think so." "And it went down the hill there?" He pointed to the path that the car left in the grass. Bobby stopped walking and turned to look down the hill. "Yeah," he replied. "Were you in that car?" "Yeah." "How did it start to go down the hill?" "I don't know." Bobby continued back up the hill. "Did you do something to make it move?" "I don't know." "Bobby, you see where that car is? Look. Look down the hill a bit more." Bobby's grandpa leaned down as Bobby reached the top of the hill, and turned Bobby's shoulders, pointing in the direction he was speaking. "If that tree didn't stop you, you might have gone that way over there, and you could have really hurt yourself." He pointed to where the hill suddenly got very steep, almost vertical. They turned back toward the car they arrived in, and as they walked, both his grandpa and grandma talked to Bobby about how careful he needs to be around cars, and that he shouldn't try to drive them. Cars are for adults, they are not toys. The talking lasted a long time, and Bobby began to feel that he had done a bad thing, and in the future he should be more careful around cars.